I want to circle back to something else you said. You said truth is not on offer in that secular environment that you're
Yeah.
in. I'm sure they would object to that.
Yeah.
What do you mean when you say that?
Yeah, I guess I would say that there are individual truths, and that is traded on a lot. Well, a good example would be a book that was canonical. Most of my college classmates would have read it in their high schools, and that is Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States. Kind of foundational to them. It brings up various things. Some of it's true, some of it's not. How how can smallpox blankets be a big thing on the early frontier when they don't know about germ theory? Just different things you can think through for yourself. But they'll bring up individual truths, and that's fine. The truth, however, is always subordinate to some larger political goal. And the political goal isn't really a truth you get to examine. It's just there. So the political goal might be maximizing gender diversity in engineering. I don't know, whatever. And the point is to achieve that political goal. The point isn't to say, is that actually needful for engineering? Is that the truth of how cars or airplanes need to be designed? So the truth, or the search for truth, or I guess I would say in an overarching way, the love of truth is not there. There may be individual truths that are brought up, right? But the love of truth is not actually allowed to prevail in any given realm. So that is unenticing if you went to college to learn things. Now, if you went there just to make connections, or to become an organizer, or to become a kind of a propagandist, if you're fine with just being a propagandist, then yeah, you don't need to love truth, or you don't need to see the love of truth exemplified. But I wanted something else, and I didn't want my life to be subordinated to some stupid set of talking points, right? So I guess that's what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned the control idea too. If I put myself in the driver's seat, then I have to have all these. I mean, there's so many implications of that, and I hear you saying the same thing here. Also, is there is something bigger than what I understand and comprehend. There is something
Yeah.
firm I can stand on.
Right. Yeah. And the idea that you are making your own life, which is pretty common today. I mean, it's common even among many of our Christians. They're not really thinking through what they hear in church, and they're not learning a lot outside of maybe what they hear read or talked about in church. But it's certainly common. I mean, that's what's generally on offer in advertising, in education, the different things that shape people's souls. That's what's on offer in whatever you're streaming right now. That idea that you are what you make of yourself is maybe the most hopeless thing I've ever heard. But it is extremely common, and that really doesn't hit you usually. I think this is changing. When I was 19, that wasn't hitting us as hopeless. I think kids today are much sadder. They have almost the sadness of middle-aged people much earlier in life. So things that I know are affecting people my age are also affecting, in a sort of a shocking way, people who should be full of life and full of joy and full of, stupid confidence, right? If you're not stupidly confident when you're 19, I don't know what to do with you, And so they were stupidly confident at the time. People were hopeful that the world would change. I mean, to a large degree, they have achieved many of their political goals over the past 20 years. But that sense that they are trying to make themselves. So I'm not speaking politically here. That sense that they are trying to make themselves is a counsel of despair for the soul. And I have seen that borne out in so many people's lives, both ostensibly Christian and very much not Christian, that I feel very comfortable saying that if that's what you're trying, you will end up as the absolute worst version of yourself you could ever imagine, because you're trying to control something you're not meant to control, which is your life. It's meant to be run, to be controlled by its author, by God.